Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Today we're going to learn about quadratic inequalities in chapter 2. First we will try to understand what is quadratic inequality, and then we will learn how to solve them. Okay, alright. So to explain about quadratic inequality, I will use this graph of function x squared plus 3x plus 2. So this is x-axis, and this is the graph of the function. Alright. Okay. So what do you think about the values of the function on these dots? Yeah. Or in other words, the values of y on these dots, and also on the other side. Alright. So here, the values of the function or the values of y is always greater than 0, or fx is greater than 0. When fx is greater than 0, is always above the x-axis. Yeah, it's positive. Means the value of y is positive. It must be above the x-axis. Alright. And what about the values of the dots, the values of fx below here? Yeah, below here is below the x-axis. The fx is less than 0, or in other words, they are negative values. What about at point A and point B? At point A and point B, on this x-axis, the values of y is always 0. So fx is equals to 0. So if I ask you, give me or what are the values of x when the function is greater than 0. So when the function is greater than 0. So the function is greater than 0 are this area, yeah, this part and this part. Alright, so we see that to get these values, the y values or the function here, the dots here, the corresponding values of x will be here above negative 1. Yeah, above negative 1. So we can say that x is greater than negative 1. And also here on the left hand side, we have these values of y. The function is greater than 0, and the corresponding values of x will be less than negative 2. So x is less than negative 2. In other words, the inequality means we can have more than one value. For equation, we usually have only one particular value and the another corresponding value, one or two corresponding values. But for inequalities, we usually have a range of values. Means we have more values. It can be negative, less than negative 2 means you can have negative 3, negative 4, negative 4.5, and so on. Okay, that is the meaning of inequalities. Alright, so here is the solution for fx is greater than 0. So x is greater than negative 1, or x is less than negative 2. Okay, what if I ask you, give me the values of x when the function is less than 0. So the function is less than 0. This is the function. This is the area where fx is less than 0. So the corresponding range values of x is between negative 2 and negative 1. So this is the solution for fx is less than 0. We can read this as x is greater than negative 2 and less than negative 1. Okay, let's look at practice number 1. Okay, here we have negative 2x squared minus 3x minus 1 is greater than and equals to 0. What must we do? Alright, first Since it's already arranged in general form, we can straight away factorize the function. Okay, factorize the inequality and get the root x equals to -half and x equals to -1. And then we are going to draw, or we are going to sketch the quadratic graph. Right, to sketch the quadratic graph, we look at the coefficient of x squared. In other words, we look at the a. The value of a is negative, so we're going to have a sad quadratic graph like that. After that, we label the root -half and -1. Alright, then we determine the area. So here we want to have more than 0. So more than 0, the area must be above the x-axis. Above the x-axis, and this is the area. And the corresponding range of x is more and equals to -1, but less and equals to -half. Okay, let's look at practice number 2. Now here we need to expand this expression and arrange them in general form, simplify them, and factorize the quadratic inequality to get the root. Alright, after that, before we sketch the graph, we look at the a, or the coefficient of x squared, is positive, so we are going to sketch a happy quadratic graph. Okay, and we label the root. Then we determine which area is less than 0. So the function is less than 0, must be below x-axis. And then we decide or determine the corresponding values of x. So x is greater than and equals to 1, and x is less than and equals to 4. This is our final solution for this quadratic inequality. Let's look at practice number 3. We have to expand this bracket first. Alright, so we square this, equals to 1, and then you square this one, equals to plus x squared. Then you multiply 2 times 1 times -x, you get -2x. And then here is plus 2x, and you minus 17 is less than 0. Then we simplify them, and we get then we factorize the inequality. We get x equals to -4 and x equals to 4. Now to sketch the graph, we look at the a here is positive, so we are going to have a happy quadratic graph. Now we label the root -4 and 4. After that, we have to decide or determine where is the part which gives us a function greater than 0. So greater than 0, it must be above the x-axis. So they are here, it's above the x-axis, and the corresponding range of x is less than equals to -4. X can be -4, -5, -6, and so on. And also over here, above the x-axis, x is greater than and equals to 4. X can be 4, 4.1, 4.2, 4.5, and so on. Yeah. Okay. So this is our final answer. The solution for this inequality are x is less than and equals to -4, or another one is x is greater than and equals to 4. Okay. To decide whether we need to write the equal sign or not, you just follow the sign in the question. So since in this question we have the equal sign, so in the range of the x also you just put the equal sign. Okay, let's see practice number 4. First of all, we need to expand the bracket, and we got 15x plus 5 minus 3x squared minus x minus 13 is greater than 0. And then simplify them, we get negative 3x squared minus 14x minus 8 is greater than 0. So you have two options, whether to remain the coefficient of x squared is negative 3, or we can also change the negative into positive by multiplying negative 1. So let's try make the coefficient of x squared, or the a for the inequality, we change it into positive. So we multiply with negative 1, we get 3x squared plus 14x plus 8. And you must remember that whenever we multiply the inequality with negative value, the inequality sign must change. You must change from greater than to less than, and vice versa. After that, we factorize the inequality, and then we get x equals to negative 2 over 3 and x equals to negative 4. Alright, so next is to sketch the quadratic graph. Now, in order to decide which graph to draw, you look at the latest inequality, which is the positive 3x squared. So since our a is positive, we are going to draw a happy quadratic graph. Alright, and then we label the root, and we identify the part where the function is less than 0. So when it's less than 0 means the bottom part of the graph, the line below the x-axis, this part. Okay, finally we determine the range of x values is between negative 4 and negative 2 over 3. So x is greater than negative 4 and less than negative 2 over 3. So this is our final solution for this inequality. Okay, so I think that's all for now. If you learned something from this video, please give a like and share and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye.